Its appearance isn't much different from an ATM machine. However, there's no money to be had here. This machine is exclusively for voting. At the Office of Statistics and Elections in Dortmund, the preparations for this coming election day are in full swing. More than 300 voting machines have to be programmed, and the memory modules are set up with the data of the corresponding election districts. The devices simplify the entire voting process.
Die Geräte kannten wir.
We were familiar with the machines and wondered if we could use them, and found that we could reduce down to 290 voting machines, polling stations, and poll workers. We needed 1,350 fewer individual poll workers. However, there have been problems in the past with voting computers, for example in the previous presidential elections in the United States. For weeks it was impossible to determine an accurate election result because the machines had failed. Criticism of the computers was also voiced in the more recent 2004 presidential elections. According to Herbert Schulze-Heiping, this could not have happened in Germany. In order to close the polls, the poll worker turns a key and pushes two buttons. The machine then prints out the results, and this printout contains all the valid votes, the invalid votes, as well as the distribution of the valid votes to the candidates. And this printout is attached to the official statement of canvass and is the official document, which we can see here being ejected, looking like a cash register receipt. The election inspector only has to sign it. The machines are manufactured by the company NADOP in the Netherlands. The core component of the election machine is the circuit board, a flat piece of plastic onto which electronic components are soldered, with a lot of precision and detail. However, voting machines aren't all that new. Some of the first models are already displayed in museums. In some districts in the Netherlands, voters have gone without conventional ballot boxes since the 1960s. The first voting machines ran without electric power and were mechanical models. This is the first electronic voting machine model built in 1977. But let's go back to the shop floor. The machines are almost finished. The memory module needs to be inserted for final inspection testing. Then, the final step is to close the electronic compartment and to apply the security seal. Its purpose is to prevent any type of manipulation to the device. Everything is now ready for the deployment of the machine at the polling station. The people of Dortmund have already become used to pushing a button instead of checking off a candidate on the printed ballot. I actually think it's a good idea. I've tried it and I felt it was okay. There's no more ballot counting. The computer immediately knows how many votes were entered and which party got how many votes. I think that's just excellent. It may, of course, be a little more difficult for senior citizens. They need to be introduced, but with that, it should be no problem. In the last elections, everything went without a hitch. Actually, in spite of the introduction of the computer, everything functions as usual.
Before a person votes, he or she comes to the poll site as always and hands in a voter registration card. The secretary verifies the name of the person in the voter register, and if everything is okay, the poll worker approves the person for voting. This means that at the moment when we used to hand out a paper ballot, we now release the voting machine by pressing a button. The voter steps up, enters his first vote, checks it, it's okay. Second vote, also okay. As you can see here, the Cast Vote button is already flashing. Instead of dropping your paper ballot into a ballot box, you simply press this Cast Vote button.
No matter whether people vote in the conventional manner or submit their vote through a computer, the main issue is that as many people as possible hear the following message this coming election day: Thank you for voting.